morning. This lot in here is an entire garden building, coupled with the stuff we've got on the trailer behind us. So this is a project for my brother, but he's challenged me to build him a garden building, and we're trying to try and assemble the whole thing and get it completed here at his house in a single day.
So let me explain why this project is so exciting for me. If you've ever tried to build something like this, or any woodworking project, and you've done a good drawing of it and followed it to the T, there's probably always been some form of tweaking or alterations based on natural factors that happen within life, and mistakes in the drawing or things you didn't foresee. But for this project, I tried to get absolutely everything in this CAD drawing to perfection. So the 3D model I've produced is comprehensive in that every single component is as exact as I could model it. And then I've used that drawing to export 2D cut lists and cutting diagrams to produce all the components of the building. And I'm going to see in this video if it worked and if they all came together without any problems. So while every piece has been cut from that drawing, I did do some test fitting at the workshop. I assembled the stud walls and the roof just to check that everything was okay.
So hopefully there's very, very minimum or no cutting to be done on site. Even down to the last little bits of cladding in all the apex cuts, I've notched them all around the rafters and everything as a pre-cut material. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will just fall into place.
An engineer's eye, and that bubble is within 1/1000th of an inch of level there. And you're trusting that Chinese thing?
So as the stud-work frame comes together, that's the point at which I've done my test fitting. So every component that I use from now on is just cut from the drawing. I'm finding out whether it fits as I progress forwards. So what I've effectively created here is an IKEA version of a garden room.
We're just fitting these sheets and we're struggling trying to get the shed square. We thought it was out of square, but it's actually the metal base slightly bending down the sides as we were stood on it. So we've just jacked the outsides up so that the bottom of the floor was dead flat, so that these sheets have gone back nice and square and flush all the way along the roof, and that'll hold it all nice and flat now. It'll look good in the little window. Could be a little bar, couldn't it? You could serve a drinks there.
How are we getting on?
Time-wise, terribly. Yeah, got all the internal sheets done. Apart from these two, George is just going to screw these in now. So them ones and them ones, and for the inside is then done. So then batten insulation on the outside, cloak it with a membrane, and then start putting the outside cladding on, and we should be done. These.
This project has got its own green credentials as well. The doors and windows are recycled, they've been removed from customers' projects in the past, and all the insulation I'm using here has actually been saved from being industrial waste.
Let's get into that time of day. Head torch has got to come out. So it's the morning, we're back the next day, and I think we're a little bit ambitious trying to build this whole thing in a day. I think it's possible if we had 2 or 3 people that knew the build of the garden building like inside out, so wasn't any explaining or what we're going to do next on each process, that would speed it up an awful lot. But yeah, I still in the back of my mind think it's possible to do this whole building in a single day. But we're back here this morning, we're going to get everything finished off. We've got cladding to do on the back and sides and a few ridge boards to put on, and finish off the trims around the outside of the window and in the front door as well. That little strip of wood just gives the bottom board the equivalent of the top of the next board, so that as you look down, the bottom one is sat at a slightly different angle. Just kicks it off nicely so they all match up.
Where the flat pack nature of this style of construction has really paid off is in the cladding and the intricate parts around the eaves of the roof and the rafter cuts. They're really time-consuming bits to cut out and mark on site really accurately, whereas back in the workshop and cutting these out from the drawing was really quick. It's so nice to pick them pieces up, slot them in place and have them fit absolutely perfectly.
See, I've actually done a mint job of that. I knew you would.
What did you say before about the roof?
Solid. Best roof I've been on a shed. Solid roof.
So while Steve finishes up on the roof, I'll take the opportunity to review the method of making this as a prefabricated building. In short, what a fantastic way of working. The whole thing fitted together perfectly with only a few adjustments needed on some of the interior cladding due to timber tolerances. The thickness of the timber that I used varied slightly from the drawing. For this project there was no on-site deliveries, no on-site cutting of materials, and I could work in any weather. And for the customer, it's fantastic because the whole thing was built and assembled with minimum inconvenience over 2 days. So with that thought, I'm going to make the plans for the shed available online on my website. So if you're interested in downloading them, then I will leave a link down below in the description box. Thank you for watching today's video, and hopefully I've inspired you today to get out and do some woodworking of your own.